Hello, I'm Pastor Joe Morrow, and this is Rhythm and Word, a weekly video devotional for you from Fourth Presbyterian Church of Chicago. I believe each of us is on a journey of faith and purpose that many different kinds of people throughout our lives have shaped and influenced. In these weeks, I've been sharing with you some of the persons of faith whose lives, and in particular whose words, have influenced my own Christian identity and my understanding of God's good news, and I hope they'll influence you too. I remember when I was roughly in sixth grade, and I saw on my family room television a frail but resolute Nelson Mandela emerge from Robben Island prison and begin his long walk to freedom, and the eventual dismantling and liberation of the country of South Africa from racial apartheid. It was only years later that I began to learn about the inspiring faith leaders who led that freedom struggle. Figures like Alan Bozak and Bayers Naude and the Archbishop Desmond Tutu, who I want to talk about today. Tutu was an Anglican priest and bishop in South Africa, both in Johannesburg and Cape Town during the 80s and 90s. It was his work, No Future Without Forgiveness, which chronicled the logic of his particular method of nonviolent direct action, and the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, piloted by the South African government and which has served as a model for so many war-torn societies around the globe. In that book, I was struck by these words. Tutu says, as we say in our African idiom, a person is a person through other persons. To dehumanize another inexorably means that one is dehumanized as well. I don't know about you, but there are many times in my justice seeking where I become rather zealous towards doing what is right, seeking righteousness, and pointing my finger at those who are engaged in wrongdoing. And in the course of doing so, often, not intentionally so, I end up dehumanizing others. I end up treating them as if they are beyond repair, as if they are beyond the possibility of redemption. But Archbishop Tutu encourages me to rethink that way of approaching justice so that we are all called in to a community in which each of our lives is valued and our full humanity is on display. Tutu had a particular way of living this creed out. Reverend Jim Wallace recounts being present for an ecumenical worship service held in St. George's Cathedral in Cape Town, where the Archbishop was preaching. That day, members of the South African secret police barged into worship and surrounded the inside of the sanctuary. Their presence was menacing. They had just arrested and jailed Tutu and several other faith leaders just weeks earlier. But Tutu was not intimidated by their silent threats. He paused his sermon and looked them intently in the eyes, and he said, "You are powerful, very powerful, but I serve a God that cannot be mocked. Since you have already lost, I invite you today to come and join the winning side." Archbishop Tutu's approach has stayed with me over the years, especially in these times where our wounds and hurts cause us to write off, cancel, dismiss, or separate ourselves from each other. Tutu's philosophy, embodied in word and deed, is a reminder that we need each other. We can call even our enemies and opponents into a community of love. Whether it's someone caught up in our criminal justice system or someone whose policies promote injustice, dehumanizing them does us no good. Only as full human beings, you see, can we hold each other accountable. Human beings in their fullness have the capacity to understand what they have done wrong. They have the capacity to change. Only if we count each other as human beings can we seek each other's transformation. So next time you're quick to let anger swell up in you, remember the example of Archbishop Desmond Tutu and his prophetic words. Finally, I don't know if you're the praying type or what questions or doubts you may have about the message I've shared today. But I don't want you to leave without a blessing, this blessing. May you harvest in wisdom what you sow in curiosity. May your pain be lessened by God's grace and your joy multiplied by God's abundance. And may all your seeking and searching lead you to the ready embrace of the God who loves you and loves us all. Till next time.